Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter. Or of course, you can subscribe to the channel. Let's talk boxing. I did promise that I'd be bringing daily uploads this week. If you've missed out on any videos that you think you might be interested in watching, please go to the channel and check those videos out. I look forward to hearing your views, your feedback. Let's talk, though, about Sonny Edwards in this particular video because he's done something that has gone viral. There's a guy that he's had who has been trolling him of late, basically, online. And Sonny Edwards said, listen, if you really do think you can knock me out, why don't you pop down to the gym and we can have a sparring session? And the guy turned up unexpectedly. He was invited the last couple of days and didn't turn up. And then today he gave £110 to get a train ticket to go from London to Sheffield to spar Sonny Edwards. Sonny was at home. He decided, listen, wait right there. I'll be there with kids in tow. He turned up at the gym and they had what I guess you could call is a sparring session. In reality, Sonny Edwards completely toyed with the guy, making him miss consistently, touching him, mocking him. He was just playing with him, really. If you want to see the full footage of this spar, because I'm just showing you clips here with brilliant audio so you can actually place context of what was going on, then go to Boxing King Media and you can see it there. Basically, Sonny, like I said, was messing with him on a couple of occasions. He threw something that had a little something on it, just a little. And Sonny said after the spar, look, that was just to let him know what the difference is between a real athlete that's been doing this 5-6 times a day for the last 17 years compared to a dude that's never stepped in a ring before. But ultimately, he was messing around with him. I was touching him, he was saying. And you could see that that was the case. He did say to him after he'd landed one or two more solid shots, shall we say, are you finished? Are you finished? And to his credit, the dude said no. So you got to give him credit for having the balls. Now, the way I've interpreted this is that it was a bit of fun, that this guy really wanted to test his mettle against a world champion. You know how you see a lot of fans that will turn up to certain events and they'll ask the boxer or the UFC fighter, please, can you just punch me in the belly or on the arm just so I can feel the power? And they get a friend of theirs to record it and stuff as though it's a memorable experience. I've seen Ryan Garcia agree to do this. I've seen, I believe it was Alistair Overeem in the UFC that agreed to do this. Sometimes they just want to, you know, have the experience of being hit. This is how I interpret this, right? However, it has also caused a backlash because there are others that see it very, very differently. There are others that have said Sonny Edwards is a bully. You know, this guy they're saying clearly isn't all there in the head. And Sonny took advantage of him. He filmed it. He put it on him more than he should have, and he embarrassed him, and that he's a bully. Now, let me explain something. If this was a guy who was serious and there was malice there, he didn't just want to test his mettle, there was malice there. If that's the case, then Sonny Edwards may have actually taught him a valuable life lesson, because there will be other guys in a street setting, for instance, who will not go lenient on him in the way Sonny Edwards did. They're not going to be merciful. They're not going to look at this and think, you know what, here you go, try and throw some punches at me and I'm going to dodge a few and pretend to hit you and then block it with my own hand as though I'm clapping my hands and stuff like that. They're not going to do that. They're going to hurt this guy. So he might be saying to him, you're not the tough guy you think you are. Stop acting a certain way. This sort of harks back to the Anthony Joshua situation with the students more recently. They were heckling him. He said he went and confronted them and basically said to them, you didn't like it if I brought guys down here to break your jaws. And basically his point was, because he broke his silence about this recently, was imagine there are other students that these guys are like this with and they cannot defend themselves. Or perhaps they're going to do something worse to these boys. In other words, it could be that they victimize somebody else or they become victims themselves. And so Anthony Joshua was actually teaching these guys a life lesson. So that may be what Sonny Edwards was doing here. Bear in mind as well, a lot of people are saying, you know, you should be controlled, you're a professional fighter and stuff like that. I've known numerous top level fighters, whether they're, you know, martial artists or professional boxers, whatever the case may be. Every single one of them has been tested by people that want to prove themselves, whether it's in a street setting, whether it's a bar, whatever it might be. People think they're tough guys and they want to put it on them in the street. And so, in a way, you have to respect Sonny Edwards for ensuring that this sort of thing happened in a controlled setting. What happens if this dude who was trolling him and saying he wanted to find him and beat him up, found him in the street? That situation becomes a lot more serious. Sonny Edwards, in a situation that's not controlled, is not going to be able to let him off the hook. If a guy comes at him in the street, he's going to have to go for it. Now, what if this guy on the street has a weapon? Now, you take the example, for instance, of Michael Bisping. Bisping was out with his family and he was filming in public, something you're perfectly allowed to do. Somebody seemed to take exception to that fact and told him to stop filming and then sucker punched him. Now, Michael Bisping, the UFC legend, basically said it was a soft punch. He was hitting like a little girl and there was nothing he could do about it. And so I just laughed and walked off. Well, Michael Bisping could have hurt this guy really badly. He chose not to. He was in control in that moment. And luckily, Michael Bisping himself wasn't seriously hurt. But not everybody's as lucky as that, right? There are other examples, other tragic examples. For instance, Falvake. He was killed at 25 years old when he was sucker punched in the street. And this is a guy who was considered to be a very promising MMA fighter. He had trained with Israel Adesanya and so on and so forth. And this tough guy who would have destroyed probably this random person that sucker punched him ended up dying as a result of it. Because you're still a human being. When you're not expecting to be hit and you're hit, you could fall over, your head could hit the floor, anything could happen. Conflict in the street is dangerous. So this is the sort of life that a lot of fighters have to live, the sort of reality they have to face, people wanting to test them. And this guy was confronting Sonny Edwards and wanting to test him. And Sonny did not choose to hurt him. Now, a lot of people have been saying, yeah, but this guy clearly wasn't right in the head based on his tweets. So why would Sonny not just laugh him off? And why would he take advantage? Well, yeah, okay, he may have not been right in the head for all we know. I mean, I've seen him interviewed and stuff like that. He seemed perfectly fine to me. But let's say this guy is a little bit away with the fairies. He's completely out there, right, in outer space. You would say that about Charlie Zelenoff. Well, when Charlie Zelenoff wanted to confront Floyd Mayweather Sr. and sparring, bear in mind, Floyd Mayweather Sr. is no spring chicken. He's essentially an old man. Zelenoff pretends to get out the ring. As Senior turns and walks away, Zelenoff runs and throws a sucker punch. And then somebody from the crowd who obviously knew Floyd jumped in and attacked him. But imagine he'd seriously hurt an old man like Floyd Senior. You wouldn't just be saying, hey, he's off his head, let him off the hook. He also started to insult the daughter of Deontay Wilder. Now, Deontay Wilder, being as dangerous as he is, if you're thinking of it logically, he should have controlled himself. Yeah, he insulted you. I understand it's a horrible thing to do. But thankfully, he missed that right hand when Charlie Zelenoff turned up wanting to fight him. But you see there, he even tried to throw an uppercut when Zelenoff was on the floor. If Wilder had hit him there with the uppercut and Zelenoff's head flung back and hit the floor, Wilder could have been in serious trouble, legally speaking. But the point I'm making is, from a moral perspective, you can understand why Deontay Wilder, who got into boxing, risking his life because he wants to provide for his little girl who is disabled, who has problems with her health, and I've got some scumbag coming out here trying to insult my daughter. This is the sort of thing that these pro fighters have to face on a daily basis. So sometimes it's better to teach them a lesson in a controlled setting rather than an uncontrolled setting, because that is where you're able to essentially influence them to take a better path so that they don't carry on along this path. Now, Charlie Zelenoff is completely off his head. He's actually been given a restraining order against Kim Kardashian, believe it or not. So this guy's just clearly got issues. But this other dude that confronted Sonny Edwards, he doesn't strike me as a Charlie Zelenoff type of character. So why is the backlash there? Did Sonny really act in a way that was so terrible? He didn't beat this guy up. So if you are one of those people that is angry at Sonny Edwards, let me know why. Explain your thought process. Do you understand the counter argument that I'm making, at least, that he either wanted to teach him a lesson or that there was no malice at all and he just wanted to give the guy the experience? He did say after the spar, I respect him for turning up. I actually respect him for having the balls to get in there. So I don't know, man. I don't see this as a big deal. I think it's a bit of a storm in a teacup. Let me know what you think. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and notifications button. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, and God bless.